Well, in 2024, we've really seen the evolution of the entire ZK Rollup stack. We've seen a lot of maturity there, and we believe that in 2025, it is really going to take off. And one of the stacks which is really leading the charge is ZKSync 3.0. So I'd like to invite Vassilis, who's the head of ecosystem success at ZKSync, to really decode the elastic chain for us. Yeah, thank you, Vassilis.
Hello. Thank you all for joining this great event by Zeeve. Zeeve is one of our top partners, so it's always a pleasure and an honor to be invited here. So I know it's a long day. I know you're probably hungry, so it's going to be short, like 10-15 minutes. And of course, happy to get any questions either on stage or later, one-to-one. My name is Vassilis. I am leading ecosystem success for Modular. Modular is the company behind ZKSync, the Ethereum L2. I've been with the team almost a year and a half, and I'm coming from the Web 2, let's say, universe, working for many years at Microsoft. So what I want to do in the next 10 minutes is to talk to you about ZKSync. I'm sure you probably know the name if you're part of the Ethereum gang. I'm pretty sure that you're very familiar with ZK Rollups, but I always want to start with a mission. And the reason for that is because, in this industry, or at least I will talk about myself, in this industry, sometimes we lose the forest, we focus on the tree, we don't remember why we joined. So for me personally, but also collectively at Modular, our mission plays an important role, and whenever we have doubts or questions about the future, we always come back to this statement about advancing personal freedom for all. Our CEO, Alex Wilkowski, is the one who wrote this manifesto and the mission, and we believe that freedom is the most important human value, and it's the only who can drive progress and prosperity. I believe we live in very strange times globally, so it's always a good reminder of why we're doing blockchains and why we're doing ZK blockchains, more specifically, because we think of them as the most important tools to advance freedom. So what is ZK-Sync, right? What is this, as we call the elastic network? In a way, it's three things, right? It's ZK-Sync Era. ZK-Sync Era is I will call it the mother chain. It's the first rollup. First ZK Rollup launched as part of the elastic chain almost 2 years ago. We have been very proud to be hitting some amazing milestones. We have more than 9 billion addresses, more than almost 500 million transactions, and growing stronger. We recently released our vision about Era becoming a liquidity hub for all the elastic network, to which I explain in a second. So that's the ZK-Sync Era. Most people, when they talk about ZK-Sync, they think Era automatically, but Era is just one part of it. Second part is ZK Stack. ZK Stack is an open source framework upon which you can go and build your own rollup or Validium. It's one of the most performant but also successful stacks in Ethereum. We are very happy to work with partners like Zeeve, who actually take the ZK Stack to the next level and offer it for enterprises or crypto-native projects who want to build their own startup, their own blockchain. So that's the second part of our, let's say, pillars. And the third pillar is the elastic chain or the elastic network. This is a fairly new term that was introduced a few months ago, which is pretty much the cluster, right? It's an ecosystem and a cluster of chains that will be unified with native interoperability, but also with the same culture. Culture is something intangible, but it's also very important. Combining all the innovation into one shared story. So rather than having siloed ZK chains, you connect them both technologically but also culturally in this thing called the Elastic Network, and it's our latest addition, and we're super proud about it. This is, to be honest, every month those logos get, the number of logos gets bigger, but that's exactly what it is, right? It's an elastic chain. It's a powerful combination of projects, enterprises, crypto natives, Web 2, who build their own ZK chain, and they're all interconnected. As I said before, they're interconnected technologically through native hash in a second. They are connected culturally, and last but not least, they are connected on a business level. We already see some cross-innovation of one chain using another chain as an infra provider, or one chain building on top of another chain, so forth and so on. We have more than 15, almost 20 chains right now. Some of them are on mainnet, some of them are on testnet. We're very excited about some of them. We have some very strong crypto-native projects in the gaming entertainment space. Projects like Lens, Sophon, Abstract, Treasure, amazing teams, ZK Candy, Xola, but we also have some amazing, I would call it Web 2 enterprises. We recently announced WonderFi, which is the largest Canadian crypto exchange, Union Chain, Deutsche Bank, so forth and so on. But so this is what is happening so far and how we're trying to package all the information in a few pillars. But I think it's also important to talk a little bit about what will be happening at the Elastic Network the next 9 months. What is the roadmap? This is a roadmap that we published, I would say, a few weeks ago, and I just want to highlight some of the key terms. So what will be coming from our engineering and product in the next weeks is those three things, which of course capture the main mindset. So number one is developer experience. If we want to be honest, right now we are not, equivalent. We know that this creates problems for many developers, and this is soon coming. This is probably the most requested feature from developers building on ZKSync. We're currently EVM compatible, but we're not EVM equivalent. So this will be coming in a series of steps, and I believe both of us, but both us at Modular, but also the developers and the chains building on us will be extremely excited about it. So that's number one. Number two is something which is very close to our heart, which is a Web2 user experience. We always hold the philosophy and the value and the thinking that users should not know if they interact with the blockchain. It should be as simple and as seamless as interacting with, as you do right now on Google or Microsoft or Shopify or Spotify or Apple, as simple as that. So there are many ways we can achieve this. Of course, we have our native account abstraction, but we will be doing more innovation on the UI side of things with SSO, privacy, and we will also have a new prover. It's going to be called Bujum 2. Our prover is called Bujum. So this is the next version of Bujum, which actually we will be announcing the benchmarks the next days. We're very excited about it. And we have already seen internally that we can hit 10,000 TPS on the ZK Rollup. So we're super excited about this because we believe that it will unlock use cases that we cannot do right now. And last but not least is this idea of a native interoperability. I know that interoperability is probably the most important thing right now on Ethereum. Other ecosystems like Arbitrum, Optimism are taking their shot, as they should. Fragmentation is a very important problem, and we try to address it in a native level on the Elastic Network. So by end of the year, all the ZK chains, regardless of whether they are private, open, permission, Validiums, Rollups, they will be natively interoperating one with another. If you ask me personally, I think this is super exciting for the following reason. Technology is only a tool, the way I see it. Technology is a tool to unlock business innovation. So when you will be able to natively interoperate between, Lens and Abstract or Deutsche Bank and a DeFi protocol, all kinds of use cases will be used, on the fringe of those things. So we are very confident that, our native interoperability will be a killer use case. We cannot wait to, launch it for the world to see it, experience it, and for developers to build on top of it. So that's the three things. So when somebody asks you what is happening on ZKSync, these are the three main things that our engineering and product teams are focusing. Again, if you equivalent Web2 user experience through Validiums and a new prover, and native interoperability based on ZK technology. So I will close with this. I know that the word elastic, we call ourselves Elastic Network. Elastic means many things. Elastic means something you can take like a ribbon and you can take in your fingers. But the economic term, it's also a technological term that you can address all the volume without having to worry about how you will scale. That's exactly how we see ourselves. We see ourselves as the network that we can scale elastically, regardless of how much demand it has. Regardless of whether you are a huge bank or a small app, we can cater to your demand without any problem or issue on scalability front. So we believe that the future is elastic, and 2025 will be the year that we will actually prove it with our innovation. That's pretty much it for me. I know we'll have 5 minutes, so I can either take questions or I can give some time back for you to enjoy your lunch or like anything you want to do.
Yeah. So Vassilis, you spoke about 10,000 DPS, right?
That's correct. That's the
prover.
Excuse me?
The prover, right? That is amazing, huh?
It is amazing.
Mind-blowing, absolutely.
To be honest, I'm always very careful when I include numbers, but these numbers were approved by my CTO, so of course I included them. And of course these are DPS and on specific transactions, but to be honest, I want to open a little bit the floor. It's not only ZKSync, there are other amazing provers out there. There is this theory that ZK proving will become something like intelligence in AI, LLM. It will be commoditized. You have things like Zero, Success, they're doing great stuff. So, it will be a race to the bottom, and, we don't want proving to be the only thing that will be differentiated for ZKSync. We want to build a community, a network, an elastic family on top of the prover. But yes, the internal benchmarks we have seen are extremely exciting. As I said, I think our CTO or our developer team will share the benchmark publicly sometime in March, so it's coming up.
So the elastic chain basically connects the chains in the ZK stack, right?
That's correct.
Is there something happening which will connect chains to other stacks as well?
It's a good question. So the way that we approach it right now, it's twofold. Right now, we want to solve this for our own stack. That's why the Elastic Network and the interoperability applies only to Rollups and Validiums built on the Elastic Network. When those networks want to connect with outside world, with Optimism, with Arbitrum, with other chains, we're working very closely with selected partners, people like Cross, Hyperlane, the bridge, but also cross-chain protocols like CCIP, Layer 0. So we work with all of them. They have different frameworks. One of them is intent-based, the other one is pair messaging. But yes, our native interop will apply only to the chains built on the Elastic Network.
Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you. Any other questions? Sure.
Do you think ZK technology will replace optimistic rollup entirely as ZK becomes so much more efficient? Because obviously original ZK takes too long, but now you guys are making it so much efficient. Where do you see that going?
Yeah, I heard the question, thank you. And I think it's a good question. And to be honest, it's not about my opinion. I think it's happening already. Optimistic rollups or teams like Optimism have openly shared on their Twitter and on their press releases that they are working to make OP chains, optimistic chains, ZK chains. I think we can all agree that ZK is the end game, not ZKSync, ZK as a technology. It's much more performant, it's definitely much more resistant and trustless. So yes, to your question, I believe that optimistic rollups will start adopting ZK technology. Our thesis is that it's not that easy. Welcome the innovation from them, but as I have been saying in some private conversations, it's one thing to build your chain ZK first, as we did. It's a different thing to add ZK later. It's like, I think our CEO is using the analogy of he's trying to put a jet engine in a car. Doesn't necessarily mean that the car will go faster. You have to re-engineer the engine in a way that it fits. But yes, I believe that the optimistic rollups will start adopting more and more.
So just one other question. So around Polygon and kind of the whole ZK EVM, there always had been a little bit of confusion because they call themselves ZK EVM, right? And so how do you guys compare, because they are already EVM compatible and they also have this layer going on. How do you explain to someone new to say the differentiator between this whole stack and innovation versus something like Polygon, or what is the pros and cons?
And I think we need to be a little bit clear with the terms, and maybe I don't want to misrepresent what Polygon is doing. By the way, they're doing amazing innovation as well. It's a great team. They have the Polygon AG layer, which is, if I'm not mistaken, their attempt to connect all the chains regardless of which stack you are building. And then they have the thing called Polygon CDK, which is their version of the ZK stack. So now, how do we compare with them? Again, I think you can compare two stacks in many different ways. You can compare them in pure technological benchmarks. I haven't read the latest benchmark, so I'm not in a position to tell you if we're better or not. But I think, to be honest, most projects, or most applications, or most enterprises who decide which stack to build, technology benchmarks is just one criterion. There are many other things like business support, engineering support, go-to-market, funding. So they don't have their own strategy. I think they have had amazing success in the past. They have literally taken the industry to the next level back in 2020, and hopefully we'll be building on top of their success as an industry, and we'll be growing the pie together.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Thank you guys. Thank you.